What's going on, everybody? This is SJG. Welcome to WSSU Ram Nation, where we talk WSSU all day, every day. My name is SJG, and last week was a really busy weekend at WSSU. Obviously, we had a football game, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But one of the big things that went on was the inauguration of Chancellor Bonita Brown, the 14th Chancellor at Winston-Salem State University. Of course, she's been there for over a year now, but she was officially had her installation ceremonies. And so I got a chance to go and witness that history and be a part of it. So thank you to the marketing and communication folks, Kimberly Harrington, Haley Jingles, and just everyone over there for providing access for myself and the rest of the media on what really was a historic day and a historic weekend. So Friday, the official ceremony took place. So it included students and faculty, as well as members of the community and dignitaries, as well as alumni. So a lot of people were there to have this official ceremony, and it really got kicked off to a great start by the Singing Rams. So shout out to them. They definitely did the Ram thing on all of their selections, but especially the first one that they did, which was, I believe, a original composition called "What Happens When a Woman Takes Power." Just super good, really brilliant. Here, take a little listen to it.
What happens when a woman takes power? What happens when she won't back down? What happens when a woman takes power? What happens when she wears the crown? What happens when she rules her own body? What happens when she sets the beat? What happens when she stands on her own two feet? What happens when a woman takes power? What happens when she won't back down? What happens when a woman takes power? What happens? What happens? What happens when a woman takes power? What happens when she won't back down? What happens when a woman takes power? What happens when she wears the crown?
So yeah, as you heard, a really great selection from the Singing Rams. They definitely did the Ram thing. I need to trademark that. Anyway, that was awesome, and it really set the tone for everything that happened afterwards. So we got a chance to hear from President of Wake Forest, of course. Chancellor Brown is what they call a double deek. So she graduated undergraduate as well as in law school from Wake Forest. So they were very proud of her. Got a chance to hear from her parents, who obviously were very proud of her as well. Both of them are WSSU alumni, and they have their own really great story. Then we also got a chance to hear from Peter Hans, who's the president of the UNC System, if you did not know.
My goodness, we are glad to welcome her home. This woman I nominated and the board approved to be your first female chancellor. There are a great many things I admire about your chancellor, starting with a get-it-done attitude. I'm sure some of you may have noticed. She smiles, laughs, tells us all to get to work, including me. Yes, ma'am. She looks at even the steepest challenges with a joyful optimism, and Lord knows we could use more of that in our public life. At a time when so much of the world seems dominated by conflict and cynicism, Winston-Salem State is being led every day in a spirit of hope and possibility. Now, I believe the spirit of our leaders matters greatly. I believe the example of our leaders matters greatly. I believe the energy and commitment and simple goodness of our leaders matters greatly to the kind of institution we want to build, the kind of community we want to become, the kind of graduates we want to send into the world. And I believe Bonita Brown has the brilliance, the background, and the spirit the Ramily needs right now. Winston-Salem State deserves somebody with energy, vision, somebody with confidence, ambition, because there is vital work to be done for the students of this university and the people of this state. Higher education is in a period of change. I've asked her to lead us through it. I have complete confidence that she, with your support, will.
And I think this was one of my favorite parts of the ceremony because, you know, to anyone who listened or watched, whether you were in the room or a live stream, you could tell that there was a lot of optimism, and that Peter Hines thinks very highly of Chancellor Brown, and also just he thinks highly of the university and what it can, you know, grow to be, what it's been and what it can grow to be, as well as HBCUs. So I think that's really important, especially in this time where higher education in general is being questioned, and HBCUs often, you know, if we feel like we are under attack. So it's great to know that the person who's in charge of this UNC system thinks highly of the person that we have in charge here at WSSU. You know, that may not always be the case. That's not always the case, but it seems like that's what the case is here. So super excited for that. And then we got a chance to hear from Chancellor Brown herself, and she gave a really great speech. Not super long, but to the point. And, you know, she just kind of finished her speech really on a high point, I thought, where she kind of got into this verse and refrain about we are the Rams and what Rams are and what Rams do and what they mean to people. So that was amazing. And then we had the football game. We'll get to that. You already heard what I thought about that earlier. We'll get to that. But then we had the gala on Saturday immediately after the game. So, you know, it was a really great way to kind of dance those troubles of the game away. And again, I was blessed to be able to be a part of that, and really great energy in the room. We got to learn more about Chancellor Brown's parents, and they also established an endowed scholarship, which is a beautiful thing. You know, again, in both her speeches, you know, Chancellor Brown talked about how, you know, that there was a need for alumni, and she made that very plain. And, you know, not just to, you know, but to give in every way possible. So to see that she is actually doing that, her and her family are doing that, really speaks volumes and says a lot. So, and then Lalah Hathaway was the performer, and she just did an amazing job. It was super pleasure to have the chance to sit in the room and hear her do her thing. So, and then we, you know, danced the night away for a while, and then that was that. So a really great installation. I keep saying inauguration, but I said installation, celebration of Chancellor Brown as she continues to do the work of, you know, evolving WSSU forward. She had some really great lines, but I don't want to mess it up. But I think she said something about you cannot be who you become by remaining who you always have been, and makes sense to me. I hope I recorded her correctly. But yeah, so yeah, awesome event. With that said, let's transition over to athletics, football specifically. So again, we hosted Virginia State last week, 34-33. Loss, a really tough loss. That was a game that we could have and should have won, and we let out of the bag. Virginia State, you know, we knew they were going to come in with a high-powered offense. The last time they had played, they nearly beat Norfolk State, which is a Division I program. And, you know, they came on the losing end of that. But, you know, really the first half, we kind of controlled the pace of the game and things like that. But, you know, even there in that first half, there was something that was troubling, and that was the kick coverage. This has been a problem for quite a while, honestly, at WSSU. It was the problem just a week before against Lincoln, but, you know, it didn't come back to bite us against Lincoln. And unfortunately, it was more of the same. Just Virginia State's first drive, they were actually able to start off, I think, right around midfield. Now, we were able to hold them to a field goal at that point, but, you know, that was a bad omen of things to come. So we're leading 13-10 at halftime. You know, the running game, you know, WSSU stayed true to the running game. I I asked Coach Massey last week heading to the game, I said, hey, you guys have high-powered offenses. Maybe this will be a shootout. And he told me, no, I don't think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a slugfest, a field goal game. And that's what we got in the first half. But in the second half, our special teams woes continued. We did turn the ball over on an interception, a rare interception, but we also fumbled on kick and punt returns, which gave Virginia State the ball in their territory, and they took advantage of it. They did what a good team is supposed to do, and they led 27-13. By the time we got the ball good for the first time late in the third quarter. So the offense had to play fast. It had to hurry up under Dalen Lee and his wide receivers, and there was runs mixed in, but when they went on that tempo, it really put that Virginia State defense on its heels, and they were able to score and get this game back to where it was a 1-point game once Noah Marshall scores that touchdown with about 5 minutes and some change left in the fourth quarter. But the missed point after touchdown meant that we couldn't just survive in overtime. We needed to actually get the ball back and score once again. And just like the Tuskegee game, we were not able to do that. And so Virginia State comes out with a 34-33 win. A tough pill to swallow, just thinking about how well our offense played. Dalen Lee threw for over 338 passing yards. I believe that's his career high. The running game picked up when Noah Marshall came in. And Virginia State really seemed like they were on their heels when we were on offense in that second half. But, when you get down by that much, it's really hard. So, it was tough. I mean, our special teams have to get better. They just have to get better if we want to have a chance to continue. And our defense, to be honest with you, has to be better as well. The quarterback, Rashawn Matthews Jr., very talented quarterback, but man, he's just kind of sat back there and picked us apart, more so with his legs than with his feet. And we never adjusted to it, and he was able to really kind of have his way. He rushed for 85 yards. And so, the defense just couldn't get off the field. And, again, they want to play tough defense. They want to run the ball and pass when they can. But, it just, in the words of Brandy, almost doesn't count. So WSSU now has to go back to the drawing board. And they leave the friendly confines of Bowman Gray to go up north, up to the DMV to face Bowie State. Bowie State is coming off. They are 1-2. They are coming off of a loss to Livingstone. They lost 17-16 to Livingstone, not far from where we were playing. So they're going to be coming home hungry. And, as head coach Robert Massey said, this is a must-win for us. We've already got one loss in CIAA play, which puts us behind. And so we really need to run the table to give ourselves to even have a chance to control our own destiny. Because, if we get that second loss, we're looking at best, going 5-2 in the CIAA. And last year we were 5-2 in the CIAA, and we were on the outside looking in of the CIAA Championship, as was Johnson Smith, who was 5-2 on the outside looking in. So really what that tells you is you can't, if you lose more than one game in the CIAA, you're really at risk of not being able to make the championship game now with the format that takes the record of the two best teams. So we have to do what we can to win out, and it's possible. We beat Bowie last year, but of course we have to go to them on the road, and so that's going to be a challenge for us. And then after that, you get a chance to play Union. You get to play them at home. They dominated us last year, but we also turned the ball over quite a bit. Then after that, we'll play at Shaw. Then we'll come back for Livingstone for homecoming, and then we'll be on the road the last 2 weeks against Johnson C. Smith and then Fayetteville State. So, we have the bad thing for us is that we play all of the top teams. The good thing for us is that we play all of the top teams. And so where we are right now, there's no question, we really, to give ourselves the best chance of getting to Durham and getting to that championship that, again, as Coach Massey said, championship or bust. The only way really to do that now is to win all of your games and hope you get some help, because right now we're in a situation where Virginia State, even though that game didn't count as a game on the CIAA schedule for them, in the event of a tiebreaker in which we would have the same record that they have, that would be a tiebreaker from what I'm understanding. CIAA is all confused. It got everybody confused, and it takes them days to figure out whatever their standings are. But that's, to my understanding, that game would be a tiebreaker against Virginia State, so in favor of Virginia State. So we have literally no room for error at this point. So we go up to Bowie State. Bowie State is not the Bowie State that it was the last time we went up there. The last time we went up there was 2018. I don't know if you guys got a chance to go, if you remember it. But this is the first year that they won the CIAA Championship. And we had the lead until the last second when Amir Hall, one of the greatest quarterbacks, the greatest quarterback in CIAA history, in my estimation, the best career. He came up with a last-second drive up there in PG County that ate our hearts out. We always play Bowie State tough. Last year, we were able to come away with a 14-point win at Bowman Gray Stadium. This year, I think we have the talent. I know we have more talent than them, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But if we don't get those special teams in order, and if our defense can't get off the field, then we're going to continue to make games close that don't need to be. We've shown that we can blow out a bad team like Lincoln. We've shown that we can win on the road. Let's see if we can get out there and get some separation. I do believe, all in all, we are a better team than Bowie State, where they are right now, where we are. But, again, we got to make that ride up there, and we got to go focused. And our special teams and defense have to really help out. Our running game wasn't as potent last week, but it does seem like we found something with Noah Marshall. We really do have three backs that can get it done. And so, all is not lost, but this is, as head coach Robert Massey said, this is a must-win game. You lose this game, plans to go to Durham are really going to need so much help. So much of the fact that I'm already rooting for Fayetteville State to beat Virginia State. I just am. Because as I said, Virginia State now owns a tiebreaker over us, according to how I understand the rules, even though it wasn't a conference game. So if we both finish with the same record, and they would go ahead of us right now. So what we need is to make sure that we finish better than them. So we need them to have a couple of CIAA losses. So, hey, you know what? Fayetteville, we won't mind if you win this game. Because we still get to play you, and we're going to beat you. We can beat you. So that's not a thing. So, but yeah, because I don't know if they don't lose to Fayetteville State, or if they don't lose to Johnson C. Smith, who comes up to them in 2 weeks, they may not lose again until they play Virginia Union. And we saw last year how the two of those teams ended up playing each other back to back. We don't want to put that in the atmosphere again, but it is what it is. So there's a lot riding on this game, not only in terms of this season, but just going forward. Again, we talked about it. It's every time this program seems like we've turned the corner, every time the lights come on and the lights get bright, we seem to kind of fall off and come up small in the light. I'm hoping that Saturday will be one time that we'll go ahead and get that, shake off everything, and get moving so that we can get back on pace to get back into Durham and be at the championship game, which is where we belong. It's been far too long. It's been since 2016 since we've been there, and it's time to get back there. So we shall see. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching this broadcast of WSSU Ram Nation. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. Please tell a friend. We are approaching 750 subscribers, trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the season. So please share this out and let me know what other content you guys would like to see, and I'll do my best to make it happen. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.